This podcast is rated IS for incredibly silly and definitely contains bad words, bad jokes, and other bad content that should not be heard by anyone, least of all children. Or maybe it should be. We don't know. We're still not their parents. You're listening to the Starforge podcast with Scya and Mal, two nerdy humans who still have a lot to say about Star Wars: The Old Republic and all its features. Rest assured, the podcast is, as always, working as intended. This is episode 36, 7.1 and the R4 Anomaly. Hello, SWTOR players. I am the Mal.
And I'm Scya. We're so glad to have you here. You made it through the entire series where we covered every expansion that's come out to date.
Yes.
And now you've made it to 7.1.
Yeah. So, after our last episode, are all the stores out of Kleenex? They're out of salt.
No more crying, no more whining. Let's talk about this update.
So, though, before we talk about the update, Scya, last time we talked about ops bosses behaving erratically. We talked about the Otters boss and Tyrans, but some
funky stuff.
While I was gone for a little while, tell me what happened. Yes. Tell me what happened in the Thursday potato raiding group, because what happened there really takes the cake.
There was some very strange behavior. I don't understand what happened. Neither does anyone else. A lot of people were saying this is the first time I've ever seen this, so I'm going to go down as Guinness World Records boss breaker Scya. We were fighting a boss in the Dread Palace operation. We were fighting Raptus, and so there's a bunch of portals you can go through. He'll shoot you up in the air. He'll teleport you. Lots of funky stuff happens during that fight that's supposed to happen. However, I was tanking him. I can't remember exactly what happened, but he pushed me away. And I automatically died. I was at full health. I didn't hit anything. I was just oh, I'm sorry, team, I'm dead. And I turn around, and all of a sudden, Raptus, who's still at half health, is dead as well. And I'm like, what happened? What happened? I don't know, Mal. I really don't. But after the trials and tribulations of Dread Palace, we chalked that one up as a win, took our loot, and ran.
Yeah, you'll have to post a link in the show notes to the video that you clipped, because my favorite part of it, after it happened, everyone was like, what? And then Vaz goes, just grab your loot and go.
Vaz is a smart person. When the Titanic's sinking, he's grab the silver candlesticks and get out.
Just go. We talked about it a little in that channel. I think what Siri said had happened was he got confused, basically, because when you used to stealth, she stealthed for resilience, I believe. And then what happened is that stealth used to completely drop your combat, but now it doesn't. And so she stealthed out, and then he tried to go. He went bananas after she stealthed out because everyone was too far. And then it's he got confused and tried to come back to a spot, but somebody was there, but it didn't register correctly. And then he just gave up. Fuck it.
He was I'm done.
I'm done. Mike.
But you know who's not done? We have someone who's the opposite of done right now that you wanted to give a shout out to.
Shout out to Kat of Cat's Tales. She is a proud member of our Girl Squad collective. She's been working very, very hard to stream and to gain followers. And today she hit 1,000 followers on her stream. And we're so proud and happy that she's successful.
I really, really love watching the Star Wars: The Old Republic live streaming community grow over the last few years especially. We've seen a lot of new faces showing up, and it's great to have so much variety in the categories. So you don't have just one person who's streaming with lots of viewers and everyone else has just one person watching. Now there's a steady stream of different people that you can go watch that are active, have their cameras on, are talking with chat, know about the game and stuff like that. I love it. And speaking of variety, today we are going to talk about the most recent patch, 7.1, which came out last week. And with that patch, we got a new operation, a new daily area, some new story, the return of the Nightlife event, a new tier of gear, and a batch of smaller updates to the game.
Disappointing other people. All right, so let's go ahead and start with how we love to disappoint other people. and that is in operations. So the thing I was looking forward to most this patch, and I think you were too, Scya, a new operation. Operation. Let's talk about R4, the R4 Anomaly.
I was absolutely looking forward to R4, and strangely enough, that feeling is still sticking around after actually having run the operation a few times. I've gotten to run it once with my guild, and once with a really friendly group who was running late at night, which was also a lot of fun. I'd forgotten what it feels like to go into a raid for the first time. There's a certain kind of excitement that you can't replicate later down the line. I'm really looking forward to trying it out more, but it's kind of hard to find groups for, especially with the iffy difficulty level.
Yeah, so I've seen it a couple times now, and it is not pug friendly.
No.
Not at all. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I guess if we were waiting for a raid and an operation that was for raiders, here it is. So
Right. I haven't decided either. Like I don't know if it should be. Like, should I be able to take random people into it or not? I don't know if the answer should be yes or no. I really haven't figured that out yet for myself. Like, morally, should it be? But I can't find groups for it easily. So I can't even get into it as an experienced raider. So it's just a weird situation.
for story mode, with how many people are struggling to find reasons to play the game, I think that this being not quite so accessible to people, even in story mode, is a mistake.
So my guess is that they'll make it easier down the line. I just don't know how far down the line. And we'll also be getting more gear as we go, though I don't know if this is a purely gearing issue, if that makes sense.
No. Because if you have a good team, you can go through story mode. Like, zip, zap, zoop.
Without a lot of gear, yeah.
With the 330 gear. 330 gear is
Mhm.
fine to go through story mode.
Oh, a lot of people don't even have 330 yet.
Really?
Like a lot of story mode raiders, yeah.
Oh. I mean, we will talk about that later, the gear
Okay.
situation. So
All right.
for now, though, a thing I like about it is, as we always say, story mode is often missing mechanics that are found in hard mode. And I find that very detrimental because then it makes the leap from story mode to hard mode very, very bad, very painful. So it seems to me that in story mode, the mechanics are there just without super awful consequences, except in a few scenarios. So, for example, on the first boss, the ICP, the Insane Clown Posse droid, has a shield that has to be dropped by pressing the correct shape or color on one of these 4 terminals that are located in the corners of the room. Fine, 4 DPS fan out in story mode, and you can just spam click it till all the shields are down. But in hard mode, after you click one, you get a little lockout, kind of like the EV hard mode pylons. So you can't just be standing there spam clicking. You have to actually press them one by one and press the correct ones to drop the shields. So it's the same mechanic, but not punishing in story mode because you can, all just spam click. The rest of it is pretty punishing, though. There's a lot of fire on the floor. There's bombs you have to get out of. And
You will die.
there's electricity coming from the wall. There's a lot going on in that.
Wait, you can't touch the wall?
Well, there's like beams shoot out from the wall.
Oh, the beams.
Yeah.
Right. There's so much bad stuff on the ground. And it's not
Yeah.
like in some of the other operations there's bad stuff, but if you stand in it, your healer's just like jerk and he tops you off. These ones, your group will die. And if you don't have everybody alive, you're probably not going to pass the op.
Right, because at the very end of a lot of the bosses, like the end mechanic is like, hurry up and kill it. You have 45 seconds. Go. So the second boss, though, the watchdog, has this thing called Stalker Protocol, where if you are blue, and the floor is blue, and you move, it
Don't
leaps to
move.
you and you die.
It eats you.
I think that is very punishing for story mode. I feel like in story mode they could have made that a big, psh, but not a full on.
That was a slapping sound.
Psh, you are eradicated. That's very harsh for story mode.
Right, I absolutely agree. Like I said, I still haven't decided if this is a good or a bad thing because it makes it very fun for me. And it makes it very fun for me to yell at groups that I am in, like, don't move! You're gonna die! There's actual consequences to everything. But yeah, when players are still trying to figure out where their 3, 4, and 5 quick bind keys are, they may not be fully in control of like moving and not moving and stuff like that, and being able to watch that kind of stuff while also attacking and listening and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's also very easy for people to kill each other on the third boss. Because if you third boss,
This is a running theme, isn't it?
right? And that's that's very punishing for story mode. And the last boss, holy moly, that must be crazy.
I haven't passed it yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they've kept a lot of the mechanics. There's one thing the very last boss does, a recursive blast. It kind of reminds me of Koratani's ricochet shot, whereas like you pass it to other people around you, but this time you actually...
Oh, is that the super bouncy yellow thing?
Yeah, so everybody has to kind of line up. The best way I've seen it is like on that catwalk where she is line up straight in a line, but you can't really be overlapping feet and you can't be overlapping other players or you will knock back other players with you. I feel like for story mode, maybe have it knock you back, but maybe don't have it take other people with you in story mode.
Right, the knockback for a story mode player is already pretty punishing because if you get pushed off, then you have to run back, and if you get pushed off too many times, then you're dead. I do like the little jetpack save you thing, though. That is a nice little gotcha there.
We'll save you one time. That's nice.
Right, one time.
The problem with
minute.
the problem with the yellow knockback is if you get knocked off in a weird direction, you're knocking somebody else in a weird direction, and it's just a disaster.
Did I tell you about what happened at my like midnight group?
No.
So we got to that stage where it bounces you all around. No problem. We're still trying to learning how to figure that out. I got knocked off, and so did another player. I may have accidentally knocked them off myself. And we fell, but we didn't die. We somehow like landed on the invisible floor. So we were just running around under the fight, looking up at everyone. Jetpack doesn't work. /stuck's not working because we'll just die. And we're like, what? What's going on? Cool view. But that fight is just insane all over the place. There is something else that you really, really liked about this fight.
Before we say that, I want to go back to what you said about being on the floor under the catwalks. It's interesting that this has so many levels, but they have a problem. I don't know if they're going to fix it. There's a lot of invisible walls hanging around on the catwalk. It's fun to try to heal because I'll be standing 10 meters away from somebody, and if they're around the corner of the catwalk, it will be like, no, you can't see them.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's a big bummer. That drives me... The non-invisible walls in Hutball drive me nuts. I can't even imagine trying to deal with ones I can't even see.
Devs at BioWare, tear down these invisible walls.
Tear down the walls. And also take down the invisible walls that apparently exist in some of the other operations right now. There's some funky stuff happening. Apparently, Eternity Vault is all kinds of broken. And apparently, Minefield has some real funky stuff that can be worked around, but is also broken. We'll see how that progresses soon.
Happy 10-year anniversary. We will celebrate by breaking Soa, the most brokenest fight to ever break in SWTOR. So, going back to R4, a thing I like, there's very little trash. And there are no stupid puzzles. There's a part where, like, you know, you have to click some buttons and clear some stuff on the floor, but you're moving as a group, and it's not like that stupid thing in Gods with those attractors and aim the beam.
No, I can't. Please don't make me do that.
Don't make me do that. Yeah. Trash was not that bad. I really liked that. It was basically boss pull after boss pull with little downtime in between, and I like that. Except people call this the Zerg corridor. It's like a Zerg rush. There are these little machines that they created for this op called attractors, and they attract mobs to them. Like it's got candy stuck to it, and the mobs are all the children.
Hello, little enemy. I've got some candy.
Then they see us and go, that's better than candy. Let's go kill those players over there. So there's one point in the hallway where it's broken, and the attractors are attracting like 3 times as many mobs as they are supposed to. And when you stare down that corridor, there must be like 80 things coming. I'm surprised the whole game just doesn't crash. It probably would for some people. It's just a ridiculous amount of stuff.
The best part is it's like a weird and interesting mechanic to start with, so it's not clear how it works at first. So especially if you're going in with a fresh team, you're going into this, you're slowly starting to figure out how the hell it works. You may not even realize seems to be bugged right now and that there's so many more enemies than there's actually supposed to be. The first time I ran this, I don't think anyone knew how it worked, so we just killed ourselves over and over like 4 or 5 times until we got vaguely to the end of the hallway. And then my entire group was like, you know what? We've been here for too long. Let's just go. We don't even know how much closer we are to the end of this. We were right there, but we didn't know it.
Oh, no.
But just that whole corridor makes me want to pick up my monitor and throw it out the window. Other than that, and the bug that causes ICUP to melt through the floor, which I've seen so many times now. It makes me laugh so many times. He's like going down an elevator and he just like keeps going down into the floor.
Oh my God.
I've had a lot of fun in this operation, despite the bugs. I learn new mechanics each run, and I love that a lot, that there's actually a lot of nuance to each fight. And I'm curious about at what point I'll be able to actually try out veteran mode.
Yeah, I think I'm headed in next week. I've heard that it's tough, but people are clearing it, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes. I like it's not just like a stand there and parse. It's not stand there.
Clearly not.
There's a lot of mechanics. Like you have to DPS, but you have to move your feet. You have to get out of the fire. You have to dodge the things. You have to blow up the vines on what's his name's fight. There's stuff to do. There's stuff for everyone to do.
Are you going to be able to go check out veteran mode?
Yeah, I think next week we're going to go.
Woo! Wait, is that you? Does that include me or no?
This is a different group.
Oh, Sag. I'll have to find my own hard mode group. But for those of you who don't find groups at all, you're going to be
flying solo.
While we were both really looking forward to the operation, I'll tell you a secret. I wasn't looking forward to the new story. But it was mainly because I wasn't sure if there was going to be any or not until a few days before it was released. The 7.1 update story, called Digging Deeper, was surprisingly in-depth for this not being an expansion update, and especially not expecting any story at all. I've seen a lot of players saying that it wasn't very long, but that it was really interesting and intriguing, as it helps really pull a lot of story hooks from the past and makes it clearer where the story in the future is going. It's fully voiced, and the visuals are on par with the ones we saw in the expansion, and there's even a few class-specific references thrown in, which is neat.
Yeah, the visuals were nice. It was short. I don't know. I looked at some artifacts and some things happened with Sahar. I mean, it wasn't even 30 minutes of story, so if people were disappointed, I can absolutely understand why.
Yeah, it absolutely was short, but I think it compares pretty well to, say, the Oricon story cutscenes, which is another non-expansion update.
I guess so, but Oricon is a nice daily area, and 2 operations are at the end of it, so...
Right, there's so much other stuff attached to it, that's fair. So while the Digging Deeper story was fully voiced and I liked watching it, I was disappointed to learn the Manon story was not. I did the Digging Deeper first and then I got to Manon and I was like, excuse me? And I actually exited out the first time I started the Manon story because I did not feel up to doing all the reading. Like, it's already a big change in how I take things in from just watching the cutscenes versus having to read and actually like memorize what's happening. And I also have to read it out loud when I'm on stream because everything's in alien dialogue, so no one will know what's going on otherwise. So it's like, Muchachapaka, and I'm like, the Republic ambassador has said to the Cellcath.
And then
I don't know what she said.
I don't know. Fully voiced, but in Star Wars alien language. And I wound up just reading and space barring because it was very tedious. Man, this is like, if you haven't played this, just turn this off for like the next 5 minutes. Man, the Republic is so fucking dirty.
Spoilers.
So dirty.
Dirty.
How do they even think they're better than the Empire? I'm here to help. I'm here to help. And then this lady is like, like, yeah, put these bugs in the sun. Don't give them the weapons. Keep the weapons for the Republic. Put a bug in their computers so we can spy on them. Oh.
Right, we don't trust them at all, these people providing us with life-saving Kolto.
Oh.
So I actually had the opposite response in terms of it being tedious to Mal. Once I actually sat down and was a better place to actually read the story, it was a little more refreshed. I really liked it. I felt it was really nuanced. It actually had a lot of in-depth story to it, and I liked it a lot. But I agree, the Republic is just dirty. It's absolutely healthy. I was telling the Republic ambassador constantly to stick it where the sun don't shine and gave like all my findings to the Cellcath. My God, they really, maybe they were just learning from Suresh, okay? What can I say?
God, she sucks. She sucks ass. Anyway, let's talk about the dailies on Manon. Scya. They have a good path. The things you have to click on have a very fast respawn timer, and none of them are too much of a pain to do solo, except for the H4 and the one where you dig with the secret droid. I would skip those next time 100%. Run all over the place digging for God, it took forever just because I had to run to all those dig spots. Unless it always spawns in the same spot. Is it different spots?
The H4 seems to be something you can solo if you're definitely a skilled player. Probably more fun to bring a friend, though, because it's a long fight. Clearly meant to be done with 4 players, which is fair. It's a heroic 4. I do think I have a solution for your secret droid thing. First off, were you looking in the areas that were cordoned out with a yellow marker, or were you just digging wherever?
No, I was digging in the yellow markers.
Oh, so you were just going from location to location to location to check for it?
I was looking in the little dig sites.
Man, that's unlucky. As far as I understand, you're just supposed to dig it a couple and get lucky. I did make you a map if maybe that will save you trouble next time, but I guess that one's just a little skip it if you don't need it one.
So it is random. Which one?
As far as I know, it's random.
I dug like 8 of those things. And I was like, I'm going to dig this little asshole out of the ground if it kills me, and then I'm never going to do it again.
It's coming out.
But they were fast, though.
Right, the whole thing's pretty smooth, and that's what I actually ran the dailies on the test server, and they seemed pretty fun. They were fine. Nothing like, wow! But nothing bad either, and nothing that felt tedious, which is always something I'm looking for. They currently don't drop the level 80 currency, though, the daily resource matrices, which is why I was turned off from doing them on the live server, but I found out that's actually a bug. So I might wait till they fix that to go run them Manon daily so I can double dip. I did check out the achievements yet, and I was curious if you had seen them, these secret achievements.
No, I didn't really look at that yet. I only just got back Sunday, and then I like rushed. I rushed I'm sorry, Evergreen. I never left.
Evergreen.
In my Evergreen timeline, I haven't had time to Evergreenly play the new content.
But if you do want something to go do, they can totally be done solo. They're kind of an explorational based stuff, so it's very fun, kind of quiet. You can go sneak around and find these super secret achievement objects, and they're incredibly well hidden. Like I didn't even see a majority of them while running around and doing the dailies and actually cataloging everything. So very fun to go look at if for anyone who wants to go do some solo exploration on Manon.
I also LOL'd at one point because Jonas Balkar said he'd keep his holo handy. I was like,
he wants to explore your holo.
Your holo like rhymes with Rolo, the candy, and I thought it would be hollow, like holograph.
It is. It's holocoms. Yeah.
Well, but then I thought maybe he's British, but I looked him up and it said he was born in Rochester, New York. So who knows? But like somebody told, like he did that, and somebody was like, "Yeah, that's it. We got it." So that's how it happens in the booth. You're like, "Are you sure?" And they're like, "Yeah, we got it." Okay.
I wonder if, because some people are still recording from home, if that's part of it.
It could be, but like for something like that, I doubt they're just recording it. I mean, it has to be like a patch. Like they're doing like ISDN or Source Connect for live direction. Has to be. Yeah,
I don't know. You're right.
Anyway, let's talk about another thing you can do solo. You can gear up your person with this confusing ass gear we have now.
Are you sure I have to talk about gear? Can I talk about Rolos instead? I have very fond memories of eating them as a child.
Oh, my husband loves Rolos. He loves them so much. So I'm set because I got my 330 gear. And then I did these quests and I was like, what is this for? I don't need any of this.
Right. So if you're already fully geared up, you kind of can ignore the gearing updates. But most of us are not fully geared up, Big Nightmare Mode Raider famous Mal. Here's the lowdown on the new gear updates. In short, if you were gearing up in solo, in flashpoints, in story or veteran operations, you can keep carrying on as you were, and you can keep upgrading all the way up to 330 now on any of those tracks. If you do veteran mode R4 though, which I don't even know when I'm going to get to, There's a whole new tier available all the way up to purple 340, which is now the new best gear in the game.
Right, and that just drops from hard mode R4. You get a token for some gear, or you just get a straight up 340 piece. So that's nice. I like that. So they also came up with 4 new tactical items. One is for commando and merc healers, and I don't know who wasted their time, but it's totally worthless.
Rip.
You should never, ever wear that. Ever.
Sorry.
There is one, though, for sentinels and marauders called Shard of Mortis for the combat and carnage spec, and that is apparently the best one to use for that spec now.
Woohoo!
So that's your spec. Grab up that new tactical. There are 2 new tacticals for each of the commando merc DPS specs, but I don't hear too much rumbling about that. So I don't really know if those are worth picking up, but what I do hear rumbling about now is how that Mando Merc DPS is a lot less bad than it was. Not top tier, but you might see more people taking that on things now, especially with Hydros and Hold the Line being so very good on the last boss of R4.
Yeah, so I've been hearing that too, especially for our poor gunnery arsenal friends. They're still behind the pack, but it seems to no longer be actively burdening their team, which is a good progress being made, and I'm curious if BioWare continues to buff those kind of behind classes in the future.
I don't know, because they nerfed one of the gunslinger specs, and I don't really understand why.
I don't understand that either.
Like, they were definitely middle of the pack, but okay, sure. So let's go back and talk about those 2 crazy Rhodians, Hyde and Zeke, and how they managed to contribute to the ever-growing inflation in SWTOR. New vendors in the game? Oh, goody. New credit exploits to go right along with that. Hooray! Happy 10th anniversary! Woo!
So apparently there was some type of credit exploit related to the new vendors, so they took the servers down and patched them. I will say I haven't seen many players boasting that they used the exploit, which is probably a good thing. What you can exploit, however, oh, look at me, so clever, is how awesome these new vendors are. If you're an experienced player who already has a piece of 330 blue gear, and even better if you have a 330 purple gear piece, these vendors can unlock a huge set of mods you can buy with credits, which makes gearing up alts a breeze, or patching up any pieces of your gear that aren't full 330 yet. I'm still researching it, but I think these new vendors may also open up a whole new avenue for solo players to gear up as well, if they are willing to put some elbow grease in, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, because all it takes is, I think you just RE 4 330 pieces, and then you can just make 330 sets. You can just put it in shells.
Basically, yeah.
All the stats are the same.
So my sweet and short little guide is that as a solo player, you need to get your gear up to item rating 324, just outright. You can do that whatever method you want. Totally you can do the Conquest solo track. And then you need to get one piece, like say your earpiece, one of your, like your implant, your earpiece, or your relic, up to 330. And then go run veteran flashpoints alone. You can do it. I believe in you. It's a lot of hard work, and eventually a 330 blue piece will drop and you can disassemble that, and that will give the new best gear in the game for solo players. And once you've unlocked it, it's super convenient for all of your characters and setting up the rest of your gear set.
Yeah, so I know even a lot of people that I raid with, you know, they've been holding off on doing like a heal set or a tank set, and now there's no excuses.
Right, I am absolutely kicking butt, Mal, because I had a 320 green set for my DPS, my concealment before, and now I have a full 330 blue and purple set.
Right.
Like, hell yeah. And remember how Sayuri was trying to help me with all my shield rating crap? I threw out all of my old gear, and I can now give myself a set of gear that has the correct stats.
Yes. Along with that, the implants. I believe if you...
Yeah, they go up now.
Yes, and if you upgrade 2 on one character to 330, it unlocks something.
Discounts.
Yes, it unlocks discounts. So I think if you do other implants up to 330, it gives a discount. Am I right?
Yeah, so basically, if you, like you said, if you get 2 gold implants up to 330, it'll unlock an achievement for your entire account, so that when you go to buy spend tech fragments on implants for any of your other characters. Like you want to go start a new Sith warrior and you need to get their implant, it only costs 2,500 tech fragments now, which is a huge discount. It's like a third of the price. And you also get a bit of a discount for the next, I think, 3 upgrades or so, going up towards like 326 to 328 to 330.
Yes, and then I believe once you take 2 implants to 334, you also get the discount again.
That I'm curious about. I don't know if anyone's unlocked that, and I want to know what that gives you, if anything.
I think. I haven't had a lot of time to look at it yet, so we'll revisit next week. But some other things that I appreciated. Thank goodness they fixed the font and the colors in the legacy menu for the achievements. Now it isn't just all a sea of blue.
Yay!
And they made the currency tab show me the relevant currencies first. Tech frags and all that jazz, instead of whatever the hell they were showing us shit that doesn't matter to anyone.
Yay!
Do you want to talk about the subtitles?
Oh, yeah, I really like those. So lots of little updates. The other quality of life update I like a lot is the subtitles and cutscenes. You can make them really huge and easy to read. Same with the chat box. You can increase the font size and drag the chat box to be the entire size of the screen if you want. I've already taken good advantage of this. I'm an old granny. I can't see, okay? Just joking. I like to take these 16-person runs out in the mornings, and I like to ask them every time, please answer in ops chat. Is this your first time in an operation, or is this the first time in this operation, or your first time in your role in this operation? And normally I can only see like 3 of their responses at once. And even if I drag the chat box, I can only see like 6 at a time. But now I can drag the whole box, like the whole screen, and I can see everybody's replies. And it really helps with other group forming stuff. For example, oh, did someone say they were a tank? And I only have to look up a little bit instead of like scroll, trying to find that one whisper 40 messages back.
That's
Really
awesome.
like that.
That's awesome. You know what else is awesome? They fixed the legendary implant for Sage and Sork healers that didn't work for 6 months.
Hey, do you remember your locked and loaded joke from one of the previous
that implant
episodes?
is so fucked up. Oh, man.
And it's broken now.
Yeah, you can't upgrade it. It doesn't even show on the vendor. And it really blows because not only do scoundrels want to wear that, I think gunslingers want to wear that too. Oh, my God. Oh, jeez.
So what were you saying? What does function now? Which package is
Well,
that?
the revitalized package now functions correctly. That is where if you have your hot active on somebody and they receive healing from you, it has a chance to spontaneously heal them. So packing on the HPS there. They also snuck this note in at the end. For legacy operations, they have reduced the health of all encounters across all ops and modes. So that might make legacy content more accessible, again, to players. I haven't been in the legacy ops due to R4 being our newest plaything, but we'll see.
Oh, I've actually gotten to run a few. So I ran Terror from Beyond 16-man, and I don't think I noticed a huge difference, to be honest. A lot of the time when I take my teams, a majority of the thing that kills them is mechanics or me. It's usually one or the other. And we did try Duxon, though, and Duxon got an additional set of changes in addition to the health being reduced. And the Duxon first boss, Red, it is so incredibly clear that it has been adjusted and it is so much easier and faster now. Like, it's a very clear difference. So they definitely made that change, and I'm curious to see if it does affect any of the other operations.
Right. I'm interested in Styrak at the end of S&V. I'm interested in the last boss of TFB.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Nightmare mode. So we'll see.
So overall, I feel like I've seen players feeling a lot more positive about 7.1 than they were about 7.0 at its release. Now that we finally caught up with what's supposed to be in the expansion, we don't know what's coming up next, but we do know some type of PvP revamp is coming down the line somewhere.
Yep, so that's all for now. I'll continue playing in the operation. I don't know. Overall, it does feel more positive, but to me, it still kind of feels like not a lot, but we'll see. In the meantime, why don't you tell me the news? You heard it here last.
If you're listening to this episode when it came out, guess what? The Nar Shaddaa Nightlife is still a runnin'. And be careful, we didn't talk about that today, but don't use those max bet tokens. I swear to God, unless you have over 11 billion credits, don't touch them. Just use those Emperor's Grace and have fun with all the tokens you pick up from all the other bosses and flashpoints and everything you do while just playing. You don't even gotta spend credits. The All Worlds Swoop Rally should be running right now, the day this comes out, until August 16th. And the Rackle event will be coming up on August 23rd until August 30th. The Nar Shaddaa Nightlife event itself will be running all the way until September 13th.
That stupid thing. Stand at those. God, I have so many Kingpin tokens. I'm like, I don't want to stand here and click this 1,200 times.
You can turn those in. Go to the VIP section in the fleet, and you can turn them in, and you can divide them by 20 for how many times.
Thank
You click the
God.
machine, or just ignore them. Yeah, that's what the max bet token is for. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. See you guys next time.
See you later, everyone. You've been listening to the Starforge podcast with Scya and Mal. We know you have your choice of podcasts, and you chose the right one. New episodes drop every Friday on Google and Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Swtorista's YouTube channel, and just about every other podcast platform in existence. For show notes, pictures, and other information, visit starforgepodcast.com. Hit us up on Twitter at StarforgeCast. We love hearing from you. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all next week.
Were you peeking? Can you see?
What? I was dancing.